Boom.
Yes, what's good, everybody? Let the fun begin. It's all going to start cracking off now. I've fully... Bring that badger here, actually. I'm fully embraced the... well, I suppose I've had to embrace the fact that we've gone down. We are down, but we're not out. I said I'm actually going to go through with something that I said I'd do yesterday, which is unlike me. Normally I say I'll do this and then I never end up doing it. But I'm going to try and select my starting 11, right? So, and I'm going to get so much shit for this because people are so wild. Well, 98% of you guys are just cool and just get it. I'm just talking to myself on these things. But some of you just don't seem to either understand my point or just think I'm a retard. So, which all is fine. So this is just I'm trying to win the game. So I'm just trying to not win the game of this first game of the season. But what I'm trying to do, I know I'm waffling here, but I'm just trying to get as many right as I can. So I don't necessarily, this isn't my starting 11, for instance. And obviously, the only caveat I'm allowed to have, I'm trying to create a game of myself here, is when we sign players, I am allowed to move it around a bit. But I think we should put a limit on that to 2 players. Because if not, if we end up signing 5 players and I just put all them 5 in and they all start, it's a bit cheating, really. So I'm going to refine that to 2. I can make 2 changes, 2 alterations. So my starting lineup, and this is who I think, this is just who I think will potentially start next year. And this lineup is awful. I was literally looking at it like, I don't like this, but it is what it is. So I have gone with, in net, Lord Meslier, silent S. I think he'll stay. I think there's an outside chance he'll stay. And I think he'll start, because I don't think people are talking about Robbles, and I think he's a dead duck. I can't see the point in that. I think it's better off sticking with Mez, silent S, providing nobody comes in for him. If somebody comes in for him now with the season he's had, it's probably going to be as a second fiddle. So if we can convince players like him to stay, which I think is a possibility, and I know he gets shit, but he's definitely a good keeper. So, yeah. Then I'm going right back. I'm going Christensen. Now, I don't like Christensen, not one bit, but I think there's a chance he might stay. Obviously, I was looking at... I've just knocked my chain off. I was looking at Drama, and there is talks that he's actually up for staying now because he thinks he'll get some game time. And I'd rather Drama be in there. I'd rather get rid of Christensen and get Drama in and have Ayling as a backup for a year. But I think it'll be Christensen. Then I'm going Struick. And then I'm going Cooper as the 2 centre-backs. I think Cooper will obviously stay. I think Struick will stay. He's had a really bad season. But he's a good player. And I think Cooper will I think he'll get edged out midpoint of the season. But I think, depending on how we get on, I think he'll start the first game of the season. Left-back, I've gone Dallas. Left-back's a weird one. So I think the reason why I've picked Dallas as well is I think he will start the game, but it could be more like a central role. I think he'll be back at the start of next season. I've gone left-back, which is a bit of a cop-out and a bit of a cheat, but I feel as though we might sign a left-back, so I think Firpo's going to be out the door. So I've gone Dallas so that he might still get in the side and I might have nicked a point there. Then I've gone Forshaw and Greenwood in middle. I was toying with like Gabby because I think he's a beast. Well, I don't know if he's a beast, but I think he looks really good on ball. And I would like to see him in there, but I don't think they'll go with 2 youngsters. But again, I'm sort of nicking Dallas, so it might be Dallas and Greenwood in there, or Dallas and Gabby. But I've gone with Forshaw and Greenwood, because I think Forshaw will extend his contract. I think Greenwood will stay with us. Then my front 3, I've gone Somerville, because I think he'll stay. I think there might be a little bit of interest around him, but I think he'll be interested in playing 40 games next season, or whatever the hell it is down there. Geldart, I think, comes back in. I think he plays up top, which we'll get to, but I think he plays just in behind, but I think we'll play, depending on his formation, but he'll be in an advanced role. And then I've gone Dan James, because I do think he'll be back to attack and get all the shit that he got last time, but not off Jack. And then up top, I have gone Bamford. And I could not believe the amount of people that think Rodrigo's going to stay. I just can't believe it. And then on the nearly file, so these are the people that nearly got in, is Llorente, because I know that's wild, but he's going to struggle to go anywhere and he's got to come back. Cresswell, who I think makes his way into the side, and I'd be well up for that. Firpo, because I think there is a tiny chance he hangs around. Gabby, who I think he'll still be there. I think he'll be in and around starting lineup. And then Rutter, who I actually think there is an outside chance that he will stay. Just because spent a lot of money on him. I don't really know where he goes. He's apparently homesick though. I feel for Rutter a bit. He gets a lot of shit. I understand that more than like Aronson and stuff with the like Aronson saying that he was mentally challenged with the relegation battle. It's like, what are you talking about? I can understand with Rutter, he's a young kid, not really playing much. How much part of the squad does he feel? He's not played at all. Like he's played minutes, not scored, not had a moment with fans like Nonto had a moment. So yeah, I kind of get it with him a little bit more. Apparently it's the first time he's ever lived away from his mum and stuff, so I do get it more. And I think there's an outside chance. These are my outside chances that stay, that are decent, other than like just general dross. I think Wobber, Boner, whatever he's called, he might stay, but I doubt that. But I do think there's a chance. And Sinister, I think there's an outside chance that he stays. Now, there's loads of people said that we just got to keep hold of him, but the thing is, if any bid comes in, I think he goes. But he hasn't had the. I know people seem to love him, but he has scored some good goals and stuff. He's definitely good, but I don't really know. He hasn't shown anything fitness-wise to warrant a decent move. But you know, you don't know whether the teams that have just sort of been in and around sort of 15th or like the Wolves of the world, where they've ended up doing all right towards the end of the season, like West Ham have stayed up. You don't know whether they'll be looking to nick a couple of players. If they sell Rice, for instance, 100 million, they're going to, 20 million, 20, 30 million or whatever it would be for Sinister. Is in bad shout, really, for him. Aronson I spoke about yesterday, who's got a release clause in his contract. There's been loads of... I can't understand why. I know I do a channel on it, but everybody gets on bandwagon, like saying that everybody seems to understand like the contracts and all. It's like it's total bullshit. It just does made in like people saying somebody's put, he's engaged his release clause and he wants to go because we've been relegated, and then and that's just nonsense anyway. And then everybody's piled on him, on this guy, and said no, he hasn't engaged the release clause. He hasn't engaged the release clause. It's because we've been fucking relegated. It automatically gets engaged. Like, why are we all discussing? It's like they do it in boxing, where we're all on about this 70-30 split and 60-40. He deserves 50%. It's like, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit how much money is spent? Who gives a shit how much money we make? Who gives a shit? It's about whether you have a good window or a bad window. I don't care whether we've spent 900 million or we've spent 90 million or 2 million. If we get a load of decent players, 4 decent players, does it matter how much you spent on them? Does anybody mention how much we spent on Nonto in comparison to Rutter? No, but people whinge about how much we spent on Rutter, but that's just the nature of the beast. And then a bit of manager talk. So the 49ers are still a bit up in the air. There's still some people saying that they're going to go in. There's still some people saying that they're not going to go in. I personally think they are going to take over, but that's just a guess, because I'm not on inside like these other fellas on Twitter are. But there's talks of Rodgers. Obviously, who got sacked from Leicester. I don't think there's a chance of that myself. Potter, somebody mentioned Potter as well, and that's been going around the internet. I don't think there's a chance of that either. I think these are well out of reach. And then there's that Corberan, who obviously were Bielsa's understudy, which I don't think will happen, but that is a little bit more reasonable, and I'm bang up for that. So yeah, I sort of said, I can't remember what I said about Allardyce yesterday, but sort of alluded to the fact that I didn't realise what I'd said. When I say it, because somebody commented saying that they won't have Allardyce. I don't want Allardyce, but just for where we're at, I don't know how much I'm into just like, I know we dropped on Bielsa and like, people pretended to know who we were before that, but nobody did really. It's a shot in dark, but it was a beast. So, you've got to be in it to win it, haven't you? But how many Bielsas are there in the world? Because if there were, we'd have found another one by now, wouldn't we? And so would everybody else. So yeah, that's my quick shit vid. Shout out to everybody. Let's keep the faith. Let's enjoy this. I'm behind it. I just think whatever. As long as we're not there for 16 years again, the channel will continue. I mean, the likelihood of me doing this on YouTube in another 16 years is pretty low. But yeah, let's enjoy it while we've got it. while there's still a bit of energy around club, and let's just have each.
The way they've been, the results they've had, 1 defeat in 13. I've got Muppets from Leeds talking about pressures on us, and Bamford and Forshaw and a couple of others, and it's over to you and this, that and the other. They got beat 7 times since Christmas. We've been beaten once. We've set it up from Christmas to be in the race.
Boom.
JackCity, bitch! JackCity, bitch! Hey!
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised. That's why I ask no.